Hello people, this is Sonali, the Melodramatic Bookworm. If you've been here before, welcome back, and if you're new to my channel, welcome to the Melodramatic Bookworm family. I'm here today with my yearly tradition of the mid-year book Freakout tag. It's a book tag in which, by answering about 15 to 16 questions, I share with you the best books that I've read so far this year, the worst books I've read so far this year, what I'm looking forward to in the second half of the year, and a few more of such plans and what has gone on in my reading year so far. I love doing this tag even though it's a freak out kind of tag, because we freak out about how half the year has gone by and how there's not enough time to read all the books that we want to read. Yeah, maybe my shirt is perfect for this tag right now. Anyway, yeah, there are a lot of questions in here, so without any further ado, let's dive right into this video and let me share with you my answers to the questions of the mid-year book freakout tag. Question number 1. The best book you've read so far this year, and I have 4 answers for that. The first one is one that I have been gushing about because of how relatable I find it. I also spoke about it in Saturday's live session, and I was like, oh. I did a whole book discussion post on my blog as well, so if you'd like to go check that out, a link will be in the description box below. Okay, now that that's out of the way, the book is In Other Words by Jhumpa Lahiri. In this book, Jhumpa Lahiri talks about her experience with learning the Italian language and how she took those steps to learn Italian, because learning a new language requires immersion. It requires you to interact with people who know the same language or who can help you move forward. She has a way of putting into words very simply and beautifully everything that goes on in the mind of a person who is trying to learn a new language, and she talks about her own experiences, but in that way that she does, it helps us relate to her more. It helps us, it validates our own experiences when it comes to learning a new language, and I felt that. Okay, so the second book that I absolutely loved is A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf. This is a cornerstone of feminist literature. The way Virginia Woolf writes about what it is to be a creative woman in this world, it's simply out of this world. This is also a copy that I bought because I wanted to annotate it. I had originally read it on my Kindle and I was like, this is not going to cut it, and I bought this and I highlighted it. I haven't annotated it because I haven't read from the book, but rest assured, when I read Three Guineas, it's going to be that exact same way. The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. This is the first in the Poppy War trilogy, and I read this and oh my god, my heart was not okay. I mean, R.F. Kuang has this immersive quality to her writing which pulls you in. It keeps you there, it keeps you so immersed, and it keeps you so involved with the characters. It has Chinese folklore and military strategizing and all the such, and it's just simply brilliant writing. And the last of these favorites is The Loneliness of Hira Barua by Arupa Patangia Kalita, and translated from the Assamese by Ranjita Biswas. These are short stories in which the author narrates the lives of Assamese women, be it family lives or be it how community sees them, how society sees them. It's a lot and it's very good writing. I was not a huge fan of the translation as such, but it does manage to evoke those emotions, so I would say that's a huge success. So it doesn't matter if I don't like the translation or not, as long as it's achieving what it set out to do. Question number 2. The best sequel you've read so far this year. I haven't read a lot of series. The only series I started, I think, was The Poppy War, and I've only read the first book, so I don't have an answer for this because I haven't read many series. This brings me back to last year when I was just gushing about Ember and Six of Crows. Ah, those days. Question number 3. A new release that you haven't read yet but really want to. I have 2 books for this. Wait. The first is In the Language of Remembering by Aanchal Malhotra. I don't have to tell you how much I love Aanchal Malhotra's writing, and the way she does her research, it's very thorough, and she writes about partition and partition memories. I think if you watch my video on Remnants of a Separation, you will see how much I loved it. If you'd like to go check that out, I leave the link here as well as in the description box below. Aanchal Malhotra, I blindly bought this because I trust Aanchal Malhotra's writing so much. And the second book is All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir. It hasn't yet released in India, if I'm not mistaken. It's releasing in August as per what Amazon tells me. And I'm so looking forward to it because Sabaa Tahir, you know I'm crazy about her, and All My Rage is it's supposed to be a gut-wrenching YA novel, I think. And I can't wait to read it. Question number 4. Your most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and I have two answers for this. One is These Are the Words by Nikita Gill, and the second is Babel by R.F. Kuang. Both of them are releasing in August, and I am so looking forward to both of them. You know I'm crazy about Nikita Gill. I've spoken about her in tens of videos. In my most recent favorite authors videos also, she was top of the list. These Are the Words is a collection of poetry, if I'm not mistaken, and I am waiting with bated breath. I'm hoping it releases in India. And then there's Babel, which is which has a very hugely intricate tagline. It's called Babel, or the Necessity of Babel. I don't know how it's pronounced. Or the Necessity of Violence, an arcane history of the Oxford Translators Revolution. And this is a sort of dark academia by R.F. Kuang. And see, basically I'll read anything that she writes because she is so fast and she's so knowledgeable and she's funny. I know it's going to be a well-researched book and it's going to be amazing, but I don't know how much I can bear to wait. Question number 5. Your biggest disappointment. I have two for this. One is this one, Before the Coffee Gets Cold, Tales from the Cafe by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, and translated into English by Jeffrey Trusselord. I loved the first book. Like, it was one of my favorite books of 2021. But this one, it just didn't live up to it. I mean, I wouldn't say this is bad. This was not one of my worst books or anything. It was just disappointing. And second is The Music of Solitude by Krishna Sopti, translated from the Hindi by Vasudha Dalmia. And this was just... maybe if I'd read it originally in Hindi, it wouldn't have been that big of a disappointment. But this just didn't cut it for me because the narration was simply really weird. Number 6. Your biggest surprise. The Loneliness of Hira Barua, and I really liked it. Halfway through I was like, I really don't like the writing all that much. But even though the writing didn't appeal to me as much, it was just the impact of the stories that were being told in this book. It was great, and it gave me a glimpse into Assam, into community in Assam, and that's an amazing thing to be had when you learn something from a book, and this book was that for me this year. Number 7. Your favorite new author or an author that is new to you. R.F. Kuang. I don't have to preface it with anything. I don't have to end it with anything. R.F. Kuang. Number 8. Your newest fictional crush. Okay, this is not a fictional crush as much as thinking ki, oh, this guy is awesome. And I wish there were more men like him in this world. But he is also charming and nice during a time when men like these were not to be seen. Okay, I know I'm beating around the bush. The person I'm talking about, the character I'm talking about, not the person, the character I'm talking about is Alexander Ashton from A Botanist's Guide to Parties and Poisons by Kate Khawari. It's a historical fiction, mystery sort of story set in 1923, in which Saffron is an assistant to a professor, and workplace sexism was even worse than what it is today. And the way Alexander, I really loved reading his parts whenever he was there. I mean, of course, there's a sort of touch of mystery to these interests, whatever, but yeah, it was great reading him, even though the book on the whole wasn't that big of a hit with me. Number 9. Your newest favorite character? Actually, none. There's no character that I've read this year that I would go like, oh god, I would jump off a cliff for you. Nobody like that, unfortunately. I think I had a list last year, but this year I'm coming up empty. Number 10, a book that made you cry. The thing is, I didn't cry much while reading this year, but this book, The Poppy War, came very close to making me cry. It made me super emotional. I couldn't get out of it for like a couple of days, I think. And yeah, I think this came closest to making me cry, but none of the books that I've read this year actually made me. Although I can't remember if I did cry when I read Honor by Thriti Umrigar. But it was really gut-wrenching. That much I can tell you for sure. Number 11. A book that made you happy. And I think I can tell you, this book made me kind of happy, emotional. And I think I started off this video by talking about it. In Other Words by Jhumpa Lahiri, because of how I relate, how she makes points about languages, da 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 da. I could go on and on and on, but I've already spoken enough about this book, or rather I haven't spoken enough about this book. If you'd give me the chance, I would go ahead and speak and speak and speak, but I'd rather write it all down, and I've already done that, so the link is in the description. Number 12. Your favorite book to film adaptation. I haven't watched many. But Heartstopper is on my list. I really need to get to it, especially since I loved reading Heartstopper so much. I really need to get to it, but I just can't find the time. I don't know when I will, but I know that I need to watch it ASAP. 13. Your favorite video you've made this year? None. None actually. Because it's been one long dry spell this year and it's just taken away all my energy. I haven't been able to make proper videos, but it's okay. We'll get there again. We'll get there. Number 14. The most beautiful book you either bought or received this year. This year being the operative word, and the book I will talk about is this one. A Psalm of Storms and Silence by Roseanne A. Brown. I think that this cover is stunning. I usually don't like people on covers of books. It makes them look very tacky, but this is just simply so majestic. Just look at this. Number 15. What are some books that you need to read before the end of the year? Look, I've done away with TBRs for the time being, and I'm going to read whatever I feel like picking up and whatever I feel like reading. That's what I've been doing so far this year also. But I would really like to get a go on the review copies that I've ever received, because there are a lot of them that have been piling up. For example, Wasted by Ankur Bisen, which I was supposed to have read last year, but I never got around to reading it. And then there's The Right Sort of Girl by Anita Rani. And then there's Tokyo Ever After by Emiko Jean, and then there's Warlord of Ayodhya Rebellion by Shatrajit Nath. There's like about 15 or 16 of such books, and I really hope I will be able to get a go on all of these before the year ends. I don't know how far that's going to go, and even if I don't end up doing all of this, I will not beat myself up, so that's something I think. So that was my mid-year book freakout tag for 2022. What did you think of this video? What did you think of my answers to these questions? What did you think of the books I've read so far? The best books, the worst books, what I'm looking forward to read? What are your answers to these questions? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If you like this video, please like it and share it to spread the word. And if you like my content and would like to see more from me, don't forget to hit subscribe and click on the bell icon beside the subscribe button to get notified as and when I post new videos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, keep reading, keep watching, and add melodrama to your life.